afternoon, everyone, and welcome to one of RVN's still newer-ish television shows, What the Why with Barbara Ann. If you haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured things out. Maybe you feel stuck and want to get unstuck in your life or your business. Or maybe you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, something so many people have expressed in the past few years. Well, all of our guests have something in common with you. They've felt similarly at some point in their life, and they've done whatever they needed to do to find their core purpose and change their circumstances. And today's guest is no exception. I'm super excited to introduce you to Judi, and I know it, Judi Rhee Alloway. She's the CEO of Women's Business Co-op. She's a certified professional coach and consultant with Image Leadership, LLC, and wearer of many hats. Just a few of those hats include being a founding National Director Emeritus of Women in the NAAAP, which stands for the National Association of Asian American Professionals, and several important public initiatives. She's been an official member of the Forbes Coaches Council, the Forbes. She's a former director of a U.S. Small Business Administration, or SBA, Women's Business Center, and she was a PA political fellow with the Center for Progressive Leadership, as well as other roles in business development, leadership, diversity, equity, inclusion, and the finance arenas. She's received numerous awards, and this isn't even all of them, but she's received numerous awards and recognition for her work, and I felt we really needed to go over this list because they are many. She is a top woman innovator named by the U.S. Department of Labor in 2011. She was top 25 Asian American influencers on Twitter in 2013. Outstanding visionary woman leader by the Women's World Leadership Congress based in India in 2014. She was named by American Airlines in 2016 as an industry innovator. Her organization was named a Best Business Center in 2017, and she was named a Minority Business Leader by the Philadelphia Business Journal also in 2017. In March 2019, Philadelphia Mayor Kenney issued a Women's Business Co-op Day proclamation. As I'm sure you can imagine, Judi has multiple degrees and certifications, including a BA in International Economics and Politics and Russian Language and Literature from George Washington University. She was an entrepreneurial consultant with the International MBA program with the Thunderbird School of Management, and a certified professional coach through the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, otherwise known as IPEC. And she has other certifications ranging from Korea and Russian languages to yoga synthesis. Notably, her journey has been filled with pivots and challenges, but also with significant growth. So without further ado, please welcome Judi. I don't know why I keep doing that. Judi, I've known her for, I've been honored to know her for several years. Please welcome Judi Rhee Alloway to our show.
Oh, thank you, Barbara Ann. That's okay. I go by Judi, and I always joke around that you can always call me Hey You, but that's not my Korean name. Yes. Anyway.
So thank you so much, Judi, for joining us today. As our existing family who watches us knows, we pretty much ask every one of our guests, after reading over this crazy list of accomplishments and awards, and that, again, isn't even all of it.
Right, that's only up until 2018, perhaps 19. Yeah.
Right, and so we kind of, we wonder, well, when you were little Judi running around playing, I don't imagine that you really thought you would be on this particular journey at this point in your life. So tell our anxiously awaiting viewers what it is that you wanted to be when you grew up.
Sure. Well, picture little Judi with a bowl cut as well, with a bowl cut and really thick glasses, including a pirate patch on my one eye. So little Judi wasn't exactly the most popular of all the kids on the playground, but because of that, I really wanted to include everybody. I knew what it was like to feel like an outsider consistently throughout my entire life, and even different points in my career too, because I did work on Wall Street, which is, as we know, not very diverse either for women and or gender, and in other environments. But luckily I had a chance to meet you when I was working with the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and one of my dreams, I did think, oh, one day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to work on Wall Street and I'm going to be this businesswoman and I'm going to have stick straight hair, which obviously I don't have. I'm going to be very tall, which I'm Asian, which obviously I'm not very tall. And I'm going to carry a briefcase. And for me, that was going to be my signifier of success, walking along Wall Street with my briefcase, being tall with long hair. Well, none of that really happened. My hair, as you can see, is curly.
And stunning.
And oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not carrying a briefcase. Briefcases are passé. But I did have a chance to work on Wall Street, which I was very excited about, where I got to work with clients, mainly in the multicultural Hollywood and sports and entertainment figures. So, for example, Eagles players back in the day that were very popular, which I won't mention. And in some cases, some thought leaders when it comes to academics for minority leadership. So that was a real treat to see this and work with this top 1 to 10% people that were very talented and were very passionate and had the right support systems to help them to get to where they were. For me, growing up in New Jersey by these cornfields with my little bowl cut and glasses and pirate patch, I didn't often see people that had moved beyond not only their family system and where their family's success, but also into the public eye and become a household name. So little Judi started in this tiny little town and then eventually ended up traveling, living in all these various places, as we mentioned before, Washington, D.C., California, Moscow, Seoul, but really at my core, a Jersey girl with a bowl cut. and
a pirate patch.
And really thick glasses and a pirate patch.
I love it. I love it. That is so awesome. So you mentioned that we met when you came on board at an organization that no longer exists, but at the time hosted one of, I guess at the time, fewer than 50 women's business centers in the country.
Right.
And the only one in the Philadelphia area at the time that was providing bilingual services. And then we met, and the organization went in a different direction, but you had not yet finished your mission.
You know, I think you're talking about vision and mission.
Yes.
Right. One of the things that I learned at the Women's Biz Center at that former organization was the needs of women.
Yes.
A lot of women, we were in North Philly, underneath the L. Oh, yeah.
I remember. I mean, and we used to talk, we'd say, you know, when you're an organization, you want to look like you're part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Right,
and there was definitely a boundary line that was kind of pushing it, but you also wanted to be where the greatest need was.
Exactly.
For the communities that had experienced the most disinvestment.
Sure. But a lot of people might have been afraid to come to the office because it was right underneath the L, and especially at night. It was 2 doors away from a methadone clinic. Understandable. And especially when women needed daycare or childcare, they didn't feel safe coming down to the office. The other challenges is that finances, of course, to pay for things, and parking, the time, you name it. So they had all these different needs. And back then we were in the in-person model, and we can call it that.
Yes.
But that was our normal. And one of those needs, when I left that organization, I saw a real need to create an organization that was virtual. And we started working online. I had also attended NABO, great organization, but I felt that the business model wasn't really in tune with the women that we were serving, which, for example, might have been really great at putting together that next salsa recipe, or creating purses, or had some other vision that they were really passionate about their hobby, but they didn't know how to make that into a business. Where NABO was supporting more women in the corporate sphere, that were working with Fortune 50 to 500 organizations. Completely different. We have on-the-ground leaders that are just stepping up in their leadership, and you have people from the suburbs, which are subset or different clientele, different target market. Nothing wrong with it. It's just their needs were not being met in any particular way, especially when it comes to diversity and inclusion and equity. So many barriers, whether it be training and or capital, or even finding people that look similar to them, that can share those same stories of disappointment to discrimination.
And just to be clear, so for those who don't know, NABO stands for National Association of Women Business Owners, and I have also worked with NABO, and they are a great organization, but not for the population that you were working with at the time through the Women's Business Center. They're what that population would aspire to achieve, but they're not quite ready for that.
Not quite ready for Fortune 50 to 500.
Right, and at the time that you were moving on to start the Women's Biz Co-op, there really wasn't a lot of virtual options.
There was not.
These were things that people would say, what?
What are you talking about? A business online?
Yes.
Right? Growing up, I didn't grow up around computers. Maybe there was one computer in some classroom that perhaps you could use. So yeah, it was a challenge. And when I initially went for funding, I was pitching at the Downtown Club in Philadelphia, in Center City, and I was the only woman. And I was the only woman of color. And there I was pitching in front of 30 investors to get this up and running, and then I found a developer that had worked at OkCupid for the matching algorithm, things like that. And it was really challenging to put together a team and the funding to get started. I did speak to one person who was really interested and introduced me to a Shark Tank judge. And the Shark Tank judge said that the idea would never work. And then he went on to steal the idea and create, I know, right? Because, I know. When you're first starting out, you don't have all the proper support, you don't have lawyers, you don't have NDAs when you're pitching, because it's just an idea. And what they were looking for was traction, and what they were looking for was membership, what they were looking for is who's involved, big names. But the people that I know aren't big name people, they're just regular everyday people. They're not tech stars, superstars, or they're not in the startup game, right? They're just people with a great idea that need additional assistance on how to be able to put those pieces together. So we ran into some technical difficulties. Our developer disappeared in Las Vegas. I still don't know where that guy is.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was through a connection through all my startup stuff. And then, unfortunately, one of our supporters had passed away. Oh, I know, right? And he was a Shark Tank judge too, which is how I got into all of that. And then the other Shark Tank judge stole our idea, and it's like madness. There's so many factors here, and most people probably would have given up. But for me, I think, okay, all right, we have a legitimate idea here, because we see enough pushback. I eventually went on to learn how to do it on my own, on WordPress, and created the entire system, and we launched out in 2015. In 2017, we won the Best Business Center, which is super exciting. I also won the Minority Business Award by the Philadelphia Business Journal, too.
I remember. I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. I know a couple people. I was so excited. I'm like,
there were
oh
so
my
many
gosh,
people
there were so many
in
people
that class.
in that particular cohort. I'm like, wow. Like, congratulations.
Oh yeah, when I went to the gala dinner, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you won. Oh, you won too. Yeah,
that was a great year for entrepreneurial
2017.
support.
Yeah, it really was. So that was great. But for me, I then crashed, because I had spent so much time and energy to get there. And I felt, okay, this is my apex. We reached it in 2 years, which if anybody is starting a business, that's really the timeline. Now what do I do? So I collapsed after that, feeling a lot of burnout, which many leaders experience when they hit their goals. And then I went into a hibernation period. And then eventually I came out in 2018, and I started to travel around the country. Can this idea be replicated, not just in Philadelphia, but also in other areas. So I traveled down to the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, went all the way down to Miami, and all the way up to Brooklyn, to these various diverse communities that often are underserved, to see if this idea will work. I traveled from Seattle all the way down to San Diego.
Wow.
Yeah. I was the advanced team. And had these conversations with women, with LGBTQ, with minority BIPOC leaders, which we weren't called BIPOC at the time.
Right.
We were just minority.
Yeah, which means Black, Indigenous, people of color. That's how we've all been kind of
Lumped
classified.
in. It's the new minority, right?
Yes.
And LGBT, I think at the time was only LGBT. There was no QIA.
Or plus.
Or plus,
Yeah.
right. So it was a different time period. And I talked to everyone of, this is what we're doing up in Philly, the home of great ideas, democracy, Rocky, vegan cheesesteaks. Can this idea be replicated across the country? And I got a resounding yes. Yes, not only did they want it, it was very sorely needed. So part of my expansion plan from 2018 to 2019, I hired 10 directors for the Women's Biz Co-op from Philadelphia all the way to Anchorage, Alaska, and Hawaii.
Okay.
So that was 2019. In 2020, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
COVID happened.
Yes. So we're going to pause there because I think we are ready for a commercial break. So we will be back in a few moments with Judi, Rhee, Alloway of the Women's Business Co-op. Welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann and today's special guest, the owner and operator and CEO of the Women's Business Co-op, Judi, Rhee, Alloway. And right before the break, we were talking about how, you've kind of regrouped, you've strategized, you've hired 10 directors in different parts from all over the country and even Alaska and Hawaii, and then COVID strikes.
And then COVID strikes.
Dun,
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 dun.
dun.
So in the beginning of March of 2020, I got an illness. Yeah,
I can empathize.
I was in my mom, unfortunately, she's had a lot of challenges health-wise, and I was in the hospital, and I remember somebody just coughing around me. Right after that, I was sick with an illness. During this time period, of course, all this news is popping up about this mystery illness. Whew, I didn't know what was going on. At the same time, schools were closing down, businesses were shutting down. We were in shutdown, lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. At the same time, I'm getting phone calls from across the country. Judi, I don't know what's happening in the world right now. I need to take care of my kid. Judi, businesses are shutting down here, and we serve small businesses and nonprofit organizations. Judi, I don't know, we're in lockdown right now, and I can't leave. Judi. This is at the same time that I am sick. My health is deteriorating, right? And where I have these fevers and chills and gravity. Why are you such a downer? Oh my gosh, it felt so hard to get up out of bed, and then my breathing. Oh. That in itself was so belabored. I felt like I had this 500-pound gorilla as I watched my organization that I worked so hard to build and expand in this brick and mortar and virtual hybrid model to, I don't know what's going on. And I didn't even know what was going on with my health because there weren't COVID tests.
No one knew.
Yeah, right?
No one knew.
I'm not over 50, so I couldn't even get a COVID test. And, it was just... It was just one of those times where it's like, I have been given a basket of lemons. Now what do I do? But I wasn't quite there yet because I was thinking, oh my gosh, am I dying again? There was a period of time before you met me when I was very, very sick and I was in a wheelchair and I couldn't.
You had mentioned.
I couldn't walk and I couldn't eat solid foods and I had written out my last will and testament. I was in my 20s at the time. Everybody thought I was dying, including my parents and my ex-husband. And I went through this entire period where I was working on Wall Street, very rational, very logical, numbers person. And then I found my spirituality because I had exhausted all Western medical options. When your childhood doctor tells you that you may not walk again, it makes you question everything.
Yes.
And so I went on this journey at that particular period of time, and I studied with all these healers from Korea to Mongolia, healers from Russia, Celtic, you name it, European, African American, that had studied in Africa, Greenland, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rican, Taino healers, Native American, in order to get myself to where you see myself now, where I can walk. You can't see my legs, but I do have legs that work.
She does.
You're my witness. And I can eat solid foods, although I have to maintain a very specific diet, but I can live in my new normal. And during that time period, during that virus, very similar situation, where I crawled my way out of it, literally, and got back on my feet, literally, and then I had to figure out what are my next steps for this organization. So once again, like I normally do, I go in, I meditate, I get jiggy with my center, and then I come up with, I can't say I come up with it, I can say I've been given solutions on how to rebrand and market and sell the Women's Biz Co-op. The new curriculum that I was given, and we call Biz Deva or Biz Diva, and that's the 11 universal laws for brand marketing and sales, the Yin Power Way. So new curriculum was created during that time period that I experimented with my existing clients as well as our directors, where they had miracles, what we call getting into the miracle zone. For example, my director in Chicago, who had defined herself as a lesbian during that time, actually decided that she wanted to be called queer. She couldn't walk, and by the time we were done, she was going to the gym. And then she had this long-term partner that was on again, off again, and by the time we were done, they were living together. So those were her 3 miracles. Additionally, after one of our meditations, she received a downfall of money, enough money that she could pay off a loan on Friday. That was a Monday, Tuesday, and that happened on Friday. So the curriculum works, and so many people had so many miracles. So I was out in Houston, and I was talking to somebody who is a book editor, and I was telling her about our curriculum and our idea, and she's like, that's a New York Times bestseller. So go back to the drawing board, write it all down. It's 4,000 pages. So people are like, what have you been doing, Judi? I know Deepak Chopra.
4,000 pages.
4,000 pages of writing. 4,000 pages of writing, rebranding the Women's Biz Co-op, to, of course, reflect in all authenticity what we have learned. And we've been working on that on the back end. It has not completely launched yet, but you can go on www.womensbizcoop.com, and this is where it is in its current state. And then we have Biz Deva, and then we have Start My Business Today, which you all saw the program for, Secrets of 10, from my experience of working at a Wall Street firm, and then Chief Strat Officer, Strategic Planning Made Easy. So we have all of these programs that are out there that are virtual, that people can do without, in the case of Start My Business Today, the only thing you need is a phone, because I wanted to reduce the barriers. But now, because one of the great things about COVID is that a lot of people have been given internet access that initially didn't have it, and that digital divide of digital inclusion that nobody really likes to talk about has, well, I wouldn't say completely flattened, but there is more accessibility to it.
It has improved.
Yes.
It definitely has improved, and COVID definitely expedited it. And,
it really did.
So that makes it more accessible to people that could really benefit from what you're doing. And believe it or not, we're going to have to bring you back so you can talk more about that, because we're out of time.
Oh my gosh, we're out of time.
I know, half hour goes so fast.
It really
always
does.
Feel like we're running out of time, but you are definitely coming back sometime in the near future versus far future.
Sure.
Because I do want to talk more about you know, the actual neuroscience, because there's neuroscience behind a lot of what you're talking about. Sometimes people hear it and they think, oh, that's hooey, and I do a lot of work. And I do a lot of work. I'm getting a certification in positive intelligence, and the neuroscience behind that, and there's so much science that backs up how the mind affects the health.
Absolutely.
It positively and negatively. So definitely, thank you so much for taking the time to come here, and you definitely have to come back. I know you mentioned the website. They saw the commercial. They can always rewind it when it's on demand. But again, what's your company website, the best way to reach you?
Women's Biz Co-op, or if you want to reach out to me personally, you can go to www.judii, Alloway, ALLOWAY.com. So Judi Alloway, it's just my name, JudiReeAlloway.com, and that will, you can connect to the Women's Biz Co-op, Start My Business Today, which you saw a commercial for, as well as Biz Deva, which is being launched, Secrets of 10, and then we have VIP. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me.
You got to come back.
Or info@JudiReeAlloway.com, that's my email address.
And you also can Google her, because she's out there. So thank you again. And adding to our always interesting and unique lineup of guests. In the coming weeks, we are going to be welcoming Michelle Beauchamp, CEO of the Champ Group.
Cool.
And Marty Pack of Whale of a Tale Productions and other activities. And there's some really interesting, because Tale is T-A-L-E.
I see that, yeah.
And Bonnie Clayton, who's the owner of The Web Chick, the tech geek with a creative streak. And Julia Gandy, who is also in this space, the CEO of Embodying Wellness LLC, who does a lot of work with neuroscience.
Great.
And then we're going to be bringing Lisa Hiller in, owner and author, Lisa Hiller LLC, who was my first ever guest, so she's easy to find on episode 1. She's coming back to update on her recent transition, including finishing her lifelong goal of earning her master's degree from Southern New Hampshire University. So please believe me when I say you don't want to miss out on what any of our upcoming guests have to say about their journeys. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. live, on Mondays at 3:30 p.m. It's also available on demand anywhere from the day that it airs, sometimes to within 48 hours. But we've been picking up the speed a little, so it's been on demand earlier. It also airs on Roku and soon will be coming to additional platforms. So please remember, whether you are looking to make any change in your life, no matter how big or small, please tune in for future conversations with others who have gone through a wide ranges of changes, challenges, opportunities, and managed to overcome whatever fear they had, move forward with intent and authenticity, and find their core purpose and live it.